Yo, it's ODB from OLP. This is issue 162, Mini Truckin Magazine, June 2005. Brad Speir's hot rod level themed S-10, 97 S-10, titled Overzealous 10, kind of a spinoff of Overzealous S-10. Joe Greaves' fourth of 5 covers. His last cover credits coming up with issue 167. The fourth of 6 total cover trucks with Lexani wheels. And back-to-back covers for Lexani wheels. Now, I last saw this truck February 12th of 2005 in North Florida. I actually owned that radiator when I first started building my truck. Brad was selling some parts, and I ended up acquiring it, which I had since sold. And I still have some parts, including, I think, some of the chrome cab mounts or mounts that go underneath the radiator support. But this was one of the first trucks to really go full tilt on a 4.3. There's a lot of detail on this engine, and it just was super sick. So shout out to Brad. He built a cool truck. This truck kind of seemingly fell off the planet. I had heard rumors that it was parted out. Don't really know. I would love to know if you guys anybody has any intel. Brad seems to, have... I don't think I saw him around much after that, so not sure if he just got out of the truck scene. But again, issue 162, June 2005. We've got a lot to talk about as we continue our quest to go through all issues of Mini Truckin Magazine. And special shout out to Mini Truckin Magazine. They are back. MiniTruckinMag.net. You can see right there at the bottom. They've got a couple of sticker options that you can go out there. They also had some banners. And I want to give these guys a huge shout out. The magazine is back in print in 2024 is the goal, my understanding. And we'll be there to support those guys. Here is that front 3/4 shot of Brad Speir's 5-year-long project. I do recall he started, him and his dad, he was working on a dually that I recall seeing at SEMA at some point. I think it was like a chassis, but that was the last I recall. You can see here a good mix of vehicles, including a sport track, and plenty of event content. Now, I want to continue to get these out and try to get through these, but just been balancing, of course, content here and my Lincoln Attic channel, plus producing episodes of the podcast, so thanks for bearing with me. Lance's Scrubline was titled Truckrazy. And it kind of talks about, him starting back in the day, rolling in a 71 Datsun 521, and kind of some of his history with the mini truck world. Purple Haze, this was Eric Gump's 00, so 2000 Toyota Tacoma. Super clean. Also the same name of Barsha's truck at one time, his old mini truck. Long before the dually, some of you guys will recall Purple Haze. Super cool name. Obviously the name of a Jimi Hendrix album or song, right? And love the colors on this truck. Shaved corners, super clean. I'm really digging it. Here's paper cuts. I don't spend a lot of time on these. I probably should. But shout out to anybody that chimes in. Some of you guys have said, hey, I drew that, and that was my art, and things like that. Always appreciate the interaction with some of the content you guys share. I remember seeing show coverage of this online. This was Truckin Nationals. Follow us to AZ. And notable for a couple reasons. One, there was a lot of cool stuff there. Two, the Colorado Custom Blazer. Shout out to Bill Hancock. Rest in peace to Thomas. Far From Losing was there. That might have been one of the last shows it was at. And you could see here, of course, Tom Jenkins now owns it, but one of the craziest trucks ever. I tell people all the time, when you look at that tube chassis, those bars, and then you look at all the smooth underneath it and all of the graphics and chrome, dude, totally insane. That thing was built over 20 years ago. Definitely a game changer. You can see here a lot of good coverage, but if you note on the left side, we are not all in color yet. Believe it or not. It's kind of hard to believe. And it's ironic now because magazines, it's tougher, right? Because a lot of people consume content online. But, now it's all about the page quality, and being able to, can you afford to do some of the things, you know, that you want to do with the magazine these days. So we're excited about Mini Truckin coming back. This was James's 01 Ford Sport Track. You did not see a lot of these. I want to say that I saw this one year at Lake Charles, Louisiana. And super sick. The inside of the bed with the graphics. And kind of that West Coast vibe on the graphics. Front three-quarter thing I think is dumped. Even with the ground effects on it. I really dig it. I think it's something a little bit different. And it's definitely a body-dropped SUT styling. Is how they said it there. And the paint was Max at Chaotic Customs. That's what I was trying to double check. Crazy interior. This was kind of a thing in that era. Not saying that it's not now. Some guys did have the cheetah print and stuff. And you'll sometimes see it like in, I think Kenwood had a famous Cadillac that was at their booth one year at Spring Break Nats. But pretty cool. Slamology 04. So this was in September. And the show is still going on. A lot of awesome trucks in the Midwest, so shout out to everybody up there. You see Lenny Groover's S-10 there. So again, I saw it at SEMA back in the day when I went, when it was in that version. Like the Talk Now is what I refer to it as because of the front license plate at that time. See some black and white on the right and back to color. You can imagine kind of the little bit of a holdout. It probably was you know, they get so much budget per month on an issue. And they got to be able to kind of stretch that budget. Overzealous -10. So Overzealous S10. The Pursuit of Perfection, Brad Speir. Again, you see on the right there, 97 S10 extended cab. Stepside bed, which, you know, there were some of these built, not a lot. And, you know, there's a lot to be said about this truck. I mean, it definitely, I think, changed the game in a few ways. There's things that people probably remember that are super positive about it. There's some, you know, a little bit of controversy about this one, I think, at the time, due to some of the body mods. Now, I'm here just to report what I recall. Certainly, I look at this truck and say it's one of the nicest S10s built, one of my favorite trucks. And if Brad happens to see this, I tip my cap, dude. Now, being that it was kind of this hot rod themed with some crazy graphics, one of the things that was a little controversial at the time was kind of the extended rocker. And, you know, at the time, with everybody was trying to push the bigger wheels, the 22s and the tires and things like that, you know, some of these trucks, they would end up doing certain things. And certainly when you look at the photos here, to me, it does not look bad. The way, and again, this is from everything I recall, with it being kind of extended there. It looks a little bit bigger, but you can't really tell with the graphics. And again, I think it goes down as one of the nicest S10s built because of the detail in it. Now, there are some things, you know, I wasn't the biggest fan of all of Lexani's wheels, but certainly that doesn't take anything away to me for how nice of a truck this was. I recall, I want to say it ran as a feature in Sport Truck as well. I think I recall seeing one of their enclosed trailers from the publishing company that had this on the side of it at one of the shows, which I thought was kind of cool. That's a vague memory there. But one of the other cool things is the inside of the bed. You know, you had the metal on the inside, but you ended up having kind of the bottom not there, and that allowed for you to see all of the detail. The dash was super cool. I love the center console in it. Blue seats, that was a little bit different with the blue leather, but of course it had the pattern in it, and of course you see the graphics there through the door jambs. Some crazy billet work here, and just a truck that I really enjoyed seeing. A buddy of mine, Marlon, that lives pretty close to me, built one of the nicest S10s as well. This, I think, is like kind of in that same category. Obviously more, a little wilder in terms of some of the mods and things, but certainly the detail all in here with the whole billet piece where the radio goes. Of course, you've got the bed off here, which was cool. They baked that photo in. This becomes the centerfold, so we'll see that. Full shaved firewall over here. You didn't see a lot of that on the dimes, which was crazy. Again, I showed you the photo a little bit ago of my collection. Just a super sick truck. I recall there being a little bit of controversy over the paint. I think when we were talking to Brad back in 2012, there was something, I want to say, on the rear tailgate that there was a falling out with the painters or something like that. But again, not here to discuss the dirt on this kind of stuff. I just have these memories and I wanted to kind of share some of them. Certainly to me, let me know what you think. Maybe not your favorite graphics, maybe not your favorite wheels, but certainly if you get down to the nuts and bolts of this thing, one of the sickest S10s built, in my opinion. So tip of the cap to Brad. I would still rock it. And there you go. Pretty cool to be able to have that centerfold as well in that portrait view. This, of course, you could bend those staples and plaster that up on the wall. Again, I do still have technically a couple of parts in my chrome bin from that truck, which is crazy, but Brad built an awesome truck. The LNO, and his dad, I believe, the LNO Memorial Show, Larry Neil Oliver, rest in peace. This was a long-running show by Hardcore Minis. And this was, I think, maybe not the year. It may have been the year. But I believe LNO, when they were having it around this event or at this location, is when I met Mike Murray for the first time. It might have been this year. I don't remember exactly. I remember where I was at, but I don't remember the year. And met good old Mike Murray. And all these years later, we started doing a podcast together. Oh, how he lucked out. Just kidding. If you like what we're doing here, check us out via any podcast app. Just search OLP. You'll see that famous River Run artwork that we have. If you want to show some love, go to ourlifestylepodcast.com. It's the first link in the description. You can buy some merch. We'll get it shipped out. If it's anything on pre-order, we typically ship 4 to 6 weeks after the pre-order ends, typically sooner. You know how we do. Shout out to Pebble Pushers Scrape Fest. Super awesome show. This is one of my favorite S10s there. Good people. They're still doing the damn thing. You see the Pebble Pushers clock over there. That Mazda, though. Trying to keep these entertaining at the same time. Keep them moving ahead without too much craziness. Remember, you guys can look at the description of these videos and all of the content that I cover. I type it all up. And it's included in a text format. Certainly that helps as well when you're trying to Google something. I've had models reach out from the magazine to say, hey, I found this video because I searched my name and it popped up. How can I get a copy? And I get them in contact with the right people. Justin's 90 Ford Ranger, Construction Zone. So again, we are in color with Construction Zone. And then you've got Dan Scogin's 86 Mazda. Hey, a model with under construction. Didn't always see that. Heavily modified. Again, we're looking at June 2005. We're pushing forward with all of these issues, trying to get through 269. What a month. Mike Alexander writes in his Draggin Thru. Remember, these are also in 4K if you ever need to pause and or screenshot and or, you know, read the content. There's some content for you. And a little bit more depth. You certainly can. This was Mike Alexander's S10, if I remember correctly. You got the mini truckin banner back there. Shave firewall. Guys really pushing the limits. In that era, this thing was crazy. I don't remember what that was, though. If you want to show some love, again, go to ourlifestylepodcast.com. You can also check out minitruckinmag.net. Pick some of these new stickers up. That's the new logo. So I'll have to do a video on that. Shout out to those guys. And shout out to Brad. He built a super cool truck. I tip my cap to him. I think it's awesome. And it's one of those trucks that maybe was forgotten about, but that's why we do these videos. That's why I do these videos. You got to keep the history alive. Next, we got the Red Ranger built by PMA Motorsports. That's going to be issue 263. Stay on the rise, everyone. That engine bay, though. Be cool. We out here. Peace.